All right, good evening. Welcome to the November Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting. We'll call this meeting to order. Hand it to you.
Yes, thank you. We want to remind everyone on Zoom that the meeting is being recorded and broadcast on the city's YouTube channel and cable channel 25. Please remember to mute yourselves during the meeting when you are not speaking. That chat function for this public meeting is disabled. All chats will go into the ether, I guess. Unless you are participating during the meeting, please turn off the video. This allows for the active participants to be seen on the screen. You'll still be able to hear the meeting. When you are participating, please turn your video on. If you have any trouble, you can send the chat, I guess, to me, and we'll see it here. Like, I don't know what all that is. And I'll turn it back over to the chair.
All right, thank you, Roger. Our first agenda item is to approve the minutes from September. Is there any discussion?
I actually had a question. I was looking at today's packet, and that included some attachments. I'm not sure if those were including the minutes from the September meeting. There was a listing of petition signatures. Were those from September, or is that attached to?
That was part of the September meeting. There was public, the person that spoke had submitted that via email, and it came in after, so we put it on the agenda, so it became part of that meeting because they discussed it at that meeting.
Then I would make the request that that be labeled as such, what the context of it was.
Well, it's on the well, I guess it's on the agenda that goes with the meeting minutes. So it basically goes in order, in succession down the page, and those are just attachments from the agenda. I'll look into it and I'll double check and make sure it's all
If you
right.
could do something that references, yeah, what that was.
Because it's a lot of pages.
Yes, it is a lot of
Yes,
pages.
yes.
Thank you.
Yep, will do.
Thanks for raising that, Lisa. Any other comments about the meetings minutes from September? Okay. Is anybody willing to put forth a motion?
I would move to approve the September minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Meeting minutes are approved. We'll move on in the agenda to public comment.
And board, I will say that we did have 2 public comments that I did send to you folks, and it's on the agenda listed under public comment for here. There were 2 emails that were sent. I'm not going to read them into the record because they're all out there, and basically they come from 2 different citizens regarding the community building. So those are the items that were discussed. So.
Thank you. Is anybody here for public comment? Please.
And if you would sign in, please. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for giving me this chance. My name is Bud Jeans. As you can see, I'm wearing a shirt, and, consider myself a kind of a reluctant activist. I've lived in Lawrence for about 25 years, and I know this town is pretty civic-minded. And recently, the planned closure of the downtown community building, hit me close to home. I've been using that facility off and on for about 15 years, and it's kind of personal to me because it's come in handy at some very difficult times in my life when I kind of need to get back on my feet. I recently finished the behavioral health court, if you're familiar with that, and had services through Burton Ash. And getting out there, working out, having the weights and the cardio was just a really big part of my rehabilitation. And I know just kind of personally and anecdotally, there are a lot of people that, have utilized that facility because they're kind of in a place of starting over with their lives, or maybe they're using it regularly, but it's always been a nice, centrally located accessible, come as you are kind of place. And I think that's very important for people, particularly a lot of the residents probably in East Lawrence or closer to downtown that may not have transportation out to Rock Chalk or even to the East Lawrence Center. I spoke with Annette Degland recently, and she kind of gave me a breakdown of the numbers. She said it'd be saving about $50,000. This is just per her estimate. And it's like, on one hand, that sounds like a lot of money. On another hand, for a town of 100,000 people, that equates to about 50 cents per person per year that it would cost to keep this facility open. And, I kind of think of it as a public service. It's something that's there. Annette did say the numbers might not be there. There are a lot of, down times, and I get that. I've been there at times, and I was the only person there. But I kind of think of it as like just one of those things there that's like a safety net. It's like, the wheelchair ramp that maybe gets used twice a year, but it's there for those that need it. The community building is the same thing, and it's been that for me personally, and I know it's there for a lot of people. And again, I think it just contributes to a more vibrant downtown, and I think maybe some of the issues with transient population stopping through could be resolved with the fees, kind of as a, like this is for people who are serious about working out. And, as I said, I'm somewhat of a reluctant activist, but I'm just, I know this wasn't an easy decision for any of you. I know if y'all had a magic button, you could keep the place open, you probably would, right? But it's just, the money's got to be made up, the budget deficit, and I understand it was a tough decision, but I'm here doing what I can, like I said, out of kind of a personal reason to try and keep this place open and make my voice heard about that. So thanks for listening.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Any public comment online?
No, there isn't.
All right. Thank you. We'll move on to the next agenda item. I believe we're to receive a report on memberships.
Okay. And we had an attachment, and so I think hopefully most everyone has seen where we landed with the final membership fees, but we thought we could just review it one more time and pull it up just to go through. I know we had a lot of changes throughout the budget process and, went through a few different iterations, and this is where we landed. So our plan, just kind of wanted to walk through our plan for implementation from here on out. So we've begun doing some marketing and messaging, so you might have seen some messages come out. We do have a website, a web page that's up that has FAQs, which we're continuing to add to those every day as we get more questions in. We want to be as transparent as possible and help answer everyone's questions. So we're moving to the membership-based system. It's going to start January 5th, 2026, and that's going to be for East Lawrence Recreation Center, Holcomb Park Recreation Center, and Sports Pavilion Lawrence. So those three facilities will require a membership day pass or program registration to enter the facility. Through the budget process, with feedback from the commission, we landed on having a discounted senior rate, so they have a reduced monthly and annual membership option. Youth for Douglas County are free. So we are going to have a resident and a non-resident rate for City of Lawrence, but for youth, we're extending it to Douglas County residents. So youth 17 and under will be free. And then we do have a qualified access membership that we also discussed, where we will use our scholarship application process and criteria for individuals who need assistance, and if they qualify for that membership, they will have a free membership. So that's for adults, City of Lawrence residents. So as far as what we have coming up, we're doing some informational sessions starting the week of November 17th. And again, those dates are posted on our website as well, and I know a news release went out last week. So on Monday, November 17th, from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m., we will be at Sports Pavilion Lawrence. Then Tuesday, November 18th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., we will be at Sports Pavilion Lawrence. Then Wednesday, November 19th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., we will be at East Lawrence Rec Center. And then on Thursday, November 20th, from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m., we will be at Holcomb Park Rec Center. During this time, we will be available to answer questions, and we will also be able to help individuals sign up for their memberships. So if you want to come early and be ready to go, you would come up, we'll get you signed up, you pay, and then it goes in effect January 5th. For the year of 2026. But it's just so you don't have to go through the hassle at the beginning of the year. If you want to get it over with and get signed up, we'll be on site and ready to do that. On Monday, November 17th, online registration goes live. So for those who don't need to come in and don't have any questions, you will be able to get online and sign up for your membership. And that will begin November 17th.
And there's no urgency to it?
No, not at all. No, not at all. We just want to, have a time and a place to answer questions and get people signed up. And if people want us to help walk through that process, we'll be available. But so anytime after November 17th, it will be available. And yes, no urgency whatsoever. So January 5th is when this will start. And other than that, that's kind of the rollout plan.
I do have a question.
Sure.
And it has to do with the community building. We've heard throughout this time issues having to do with closing the community building. And, I think the people who use the community building, I don't want to be typecast, but I think it's not a casual decision. I mean, they can't use, it was like the speaker said, we use the community. So my question is, depending on the way the budget plays out, is it possible to reopen the community building at some point?
I think we'll have to analyze how it goes, but when we went through this budget process, starting back, the big picture is the PRC department had to cut $1.8 million out of our budget. And part of that is being offset with the membership fees for the other 3 rec centers. The community building is not set up logistically. The building itself, the physical aspects, would have required hundreds of thousands of dollars in renovations, and so that wasn't feasible. So the way the building is set up with 2 entrances, the ADA access is in the back of the building, it's just not set up for a membership fee-based system. And so as we began going through our $1.8 million reduction, we had to look at all rec centers, and in a scenario without membership fees, we would be closing access to all the rec centers to just a few hours a day or nights and weekends, was one possibility. So the community building, not being part of the membership fee system, we had to cut $50,000 from that budget, and that's our part-time staff. That's what's keeping the building open. And so the building itself is not closing. It's not going to be mothballed. It's not just going to sit empty. We still have the programs that will continue there is going to be all of our sports leagues, fitness class, dance classes, personal training, all of our recreation programs and classes, unified, lifelong, that take place there. We also do camps. We do our summer camp is housed out of that building, as well as the winter and spring break camps, all of our specialty camps. And then we do use the weight and cardio area for a personal training program. And as we go through next year, we're continuing to look at other programs that we can open the building for access to the weight room. It might be a paid program for weight training where you sign up and pay and get access.
Okay.
So we're working on those programs.
Okay.
So it also continues to support some of our staff. We'll still office out of that building, and they support other functions, and divisions in our department. But and we've looked at, the commission did ask us to send them some numbers on what would it take to open for youth, what would it take to open certain days of the week. So we've shared that information with the commission. But again, we had to reduce that budget by $50,000, and that's the, really realistically what we were left with. And so, the programs that we do are revenue generating, and so you don't cut the programs, because then your revenue goes down, and then it's just a, you know, never-ending circle. So that's what we were, that's, you know, the decision that was made, that's what was approved in the budget, and so that's the approved budget for 2026. So if, you know, the commission gives us different direction, if we, you know, as we go through the 2027 budget process, we will continue to
Yeah.
analyze options.
Plus, I hadn't thought of this, but the people who presently use, you know, like the person who was talking, they could actually sign up for a program, couldn't they?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and,
well, like I
and
said,
if
we
they
have personal
qualified,
training
and if they qualified financially, that would give them access.
Correct, yeah, I mean,
Kind of,
again, depending on the
yeah.
program, we have scholarships for programs. So, you know, we still have,
Sure.
we're still definitely using the building. It's just in a different capacity, and, but yeah, again, this is what was approved for '26, so I don't know if we'll be making changes possibly until the '27 budget year.
But like if the guy wanted to do the yoga class at night, I mean, he could, and he qualified in terms of financial, he could do that, couldn't he?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, so for our programs, we have a scholarship
Yeah.
program. So if
Yeah, okay,
someone needed to apply for that for
Okay.
a fitness program, we do
Yeah.
have that available.
okay.
So Lindsay, is the majority of that 50,000 part-time staffing?
All of it is.
So if the building was already with part-time staff because there's classes, could people not work out while?
We are only opening it, we're just having our instructors open now for these
Okay.
programs. And
So you have no part-time
We
staff?
don't have anyone to watch the front desk. So logistically, it's going to be very
Right.
difficult to even do what we're
Okay.
doing. And so it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of trial and error as we go through this next year. So, and we still will not have someone to monitor both entrances. And just for safety reasons, once the instructor or the, you know, if it's for a sports league, once people get in the building, we don't have anyone monitoring the front desk to, you know, again, that's just a big safety concern. So we can't allow people to use other areas of the building. We're just going to be letting in the patrons for that particular class or
Okay.
program.
Thank you.
Because the entrances, well, the exits are really exits, not entrances, because they're locked from the back, but people
Right.
do exit. People do come in there when they're left open, and, yeah, it's always been a safety concern.
Yeah.
So I just want to clarify, the closing of the community building, does that include like loss of full-time staff there? Because you said part-time, so the people that are working in the community building, everybody's keeping their job.
Correct. Yes.
There's been no layoffs with that?
No,
Okay.
no. Through the budget process, we lost 3 full-time positions in our department, but it was not in relation to the community building. So yes, this particular part of the budget was part-time staffing. And the staff in that building support other divisions, so they're not at their desks all the time. They're not necessarily managing that building either. And so without part-time staff, we can't expect that they would be there all the time, you know, so it's going to be a little challenging even with the way that we have it set up now.
What is the date that that's scheduled to close?
January 1st.
With the membership program, how will you know what success looks like?
Well, through this budget process, we set a goal, and so for revenue, our goal is 450,000. And we do have numbers that we, you know, as we put this number together, we have a breakdown of, you know, our goal for total number of memberships, day passes, and things like that. So we base it off of 3,000 members, which is roughly 3% of the population. And so that was discussed with the commission earlier this summer when we were putting together our numbers and estimates for revenue. But so I think that's how we'll measure is, you know, by number of memberships and then what potential revenue we can bring in.
Any other discussion or comments about this?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I'm a little concerned about stress on the staff for Parks and Rec, those working at Holcomb, at East Lawrence Center, at Sports Pavilion during this time of transition. I mean, has there been any consideration or thought to that, how that's going down? I mean, I know they're probably stressed.
It's extremely
Yeah,
stressful.
it's like,
It is now.
I mean, just talking to friends that work
Yeah,
there, I mean, I
yeah.
know that,
Yeah, no, and our, you know, the frontline staff are taking a lot of the heat and a lot of the questions now, especially as information is getting sent out. We're doing a lot of training. We've already had a few, you know, staff group meetings with everybody. We're going through a lot of training. The FAQs that we have posted on our website were initially created for staff. You know, we're trying to give them as much information so they can be well educated and well versed and be able to, you know, understand and answer the questions. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate you saying that because it's true. This is not an easy transition for us as well as the community. So we're all in this together, and yeah, we're gonna, you know, January 5th when this rolls out. Oh, is there?
FAQs.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to.
Sheet is right there. There you go.
Yeah, I was looking for the link, yeah.
And we bumped it to January 5th just because knowing right after the holidays, you know, on a Friday after New Year's, we just didn't feel like that was a very good day to roll out something like this. So we wanted to buy a little bit of time. And so that's why we chose to make this effective January 5th for the memberships, just to give everybody a little time to prepare. But we will have all of our supervisors on hand, you know, the first few weeks and do everything we can to support the frontline staff as they're getting things started.
And the public meetings or the public information next week?
Yes.
Who is doing that? You were saying we are going to be
Yeah.
out there. Is that?
It will be myself and the facility supervisors at each facility and our recreation operation managers.
Okay.
Those dates and times are up on the screen as well right now.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, we'll move on. Public comment?
Nobody comment on that
Thank
yet.
you. Any public comment on this item?
Please come up to the podium, and we just need to get you heard so people
Yes.
out and
Thank you. Carol Kummer. Answer a question for Lindsay. Maybe the biggest hurdle we're going to have with these fees when we initiate them is the qualified people. They'll probably take more attention. And I noticed in your email that was sent out that we had addressed it. I think your staff they have to make appointments to go, and they'll take a while to show proof of their qualification for the low income. So that should probably take the longest part of anything and probably slow the process down a little bit. But anyways, I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Thank you. Any,
there's no comment online either.
okay. I believe we're supposed to receive an update on the renovation of the outdoor aquatic center.
Gotta hold it.
There we go. Magic.
It's magic if you know how. All right. Such a nice day. Let's talk outdoor pool. City Commissioner approved a $5.6 million capital improvement project for the outdoor pool renovation. So we've been in design for, gosh, seems like about a year now, where we've had a lot of public comment back and forth on what we wanted to do and not want to do. So we bid the project. The good news is we bid in lower than our targeted budget. So $5.6 million, it actually bid at $4.7 million. So, and that included all bid options. When we originally went through this, we thought we're probably pushing $6 million. So we started do some bid alternates, say, okay, we don't have to have the slides, we don't have to do this. But the 4.7 is covering base bid plus all bid alternates. So we're going to get 2 slides. We're going to get the front entrance renovation that we want. Restrooms are going to be redone. Shade structures will be redone. All of that in the $4.7 million. So I'm really happy about that. It gives us a little budget flexibility, which is odd for a CIP project. Usually we're pushing the ceiling. and, trying to make it fit in. So I think in my opinion, what gave us such a good bid is we split the project. So right now, we're going to start on the bathhouse renovations. So that was phase 1. So we're going to let the contractor wait till after summer of next year to do the actual pool renovation. So they're going to kind of do everything except the pool, and then we'll be ready to open in May. We'll run it May through August, and then we'll shut it down, then they'll do the pool renovation. Pool renovation is going to be substantial, but they say they can, if we start in August of next year, they can be done by May of the following year. So we don't lose a pool season. So that's a huge thing. And I think honestly, by phasing it, we got a better price, because originally we were talking about we'd close it, get them started right now, and have them try to get done by June or July of next year. As we looked at, World Cup coming in, soccer, we might want to look a little better than having a closed pool. So this was worked out pretty well, I think. So I'm happy all the way around. We have not started yet. We've almost got the contract signed, but they're going to be tearing up the bathhouse. So that'll be basically the restrooms will all be renovated. We're also looking at adding a few things, like maybe renovating the meeting room, doing some little nicety things. There's an octagon shelter there. We got a bid to just rehab it. With the money we have, we might want to look at replacing it, because they bid over $100,000 to rehab it. It's like, well, if we're going to spend that much money, should we maybe do something different? So we're going to look into that with the architect team. But it's an exciting project. It's a big project. It'll be probably a year and a half by the time we're done. But the pool renovation is significant. We're going to take basically the whole floor out of the main lap pool. Then we're taking the whole zero depth off, so that'll be bulldozed. New wading pool, so 0 to 3 foot on the west side, which will be incredible. So it'll separate the pools and give us 2 operating systems in that pool. So it's going to be good. Going to be interesting to watch. I'm not sure how they're going to take the floor out and not take the walls out. So, Any questions or anything I can answer?
So Mark, they're doing the restrooms, are they doing the offices, concession?
Pretty much just the restrooms. So we're going to modernize those a little bit. If you've been in there, it's just kind of one big open area. So we're going to put some divider partitions in for the showers, get rid of the drop cloths for shower fronts. We're going to do new partitions between all the restroom stalls. We're taking out some of the concrete benches and stuff that are in there. So it's pretty much just the bathrooms, and then the entrance was a bit alternate, which that has been a problem forever, because we have our cashier sitting in a glass box. So if somebody just walks by, you really can't do anything about it, because you got to go back around and find them. So we'll put the operation out front, so there'll be a front desk with multiple workstations there. So when you come in, you'll have kind of a nice clean entrance into the facility. Anything else? We'll take pictures as we go. Give you reports every few months or something.
That'd be great. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks.
Any other comments or questions?
Mark, I think it would really be cool if you take the pictures and if you post the pictures online.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people would really be interested.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because especially inside the building, people aren't going to have any idea until we
Yeah.
open next May. So they won't have an idea that we're actually doing something.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Any other comments or questions? Is there any public comment?
No public comment online.
All right, thank you. We'll next move to reports and roundtable. The first are board items.
And I did put the committees those volunteer opportunities that were presented and people accepted them to be kind of discussed as well on there.
Thank you.
If they had any updates.
John, do you have any updates for us on your?
Yeah, we met one time, and that was just, a few nights ago. And, boy, it's really a very competent, invested group of people. And it's really kind of neat to learn about about North Lawrence, because we have a combination of people who've been there for a while and, other people. What is there was one point of a lot of confusion, though, and that's this term, North Lawrence corridor. Because I don't know about the rest of you, but when I think of the North Lawrence corridor, I think of North 2nd Street. That's not what this corridor is. This corridor is the totality of North Lawrence. Yeah, and so it's, if there's any way to change, the reference to these things, I think it'd be very, very helpful, because there was a lot of attention to North Second Street, but there was a lot of attention to the other piece as well. But we were constantly having to, are you talking about North Second Street, or are you talking about the totality? So if there could be something, I don't know, done to change the name of that project, I think North Lawrence Task Force report would be good enough.
Could the group come up with a name for it, maybe? That
Well,
everybody would understand, I guess.
Probably could, but I.
Sorry if I missed this. How long is the task force, like the generation of the report and the task force, how long will that?
Oh, it's going to be a long.
About 18 months, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's part of a complex, it's going to be, a major plan for North Lawrence. But, I mean, it's just absolutely fascinating to think about, some of the streets don't have sidewalks, curb and sidewalks. And the old-time residents are going, yeah, that's cool, that's the way we want it. And then you go by all these new houses out there, and you go, okay. It's going to be very interesting. Yeah.
Thanks for representing this group on that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Lee, did you have any updates for us?
Well, we have not met, but as far as the Unmistakable Event Grant Review thing, and I know the deadline's tonight, isn't it, to applications? And then we'll review those, and then meet on Friday.
You to the ad hoc committee to just do scoring.
Right.
And then you all get your scores back to me, and I assemble those into a broader score sheet. I should stand at the podium.
Yeah, you probably should.
Yep.
I was
And then-
gonna-
You're eyeing me.
And then we meet on Friday.
And then we will meet on Friday.
You felt
at-
me saying that to you.
At Parks and Rec, and it'll be a public meeting. We'll be on Zoom and go through that and figure out how to disperse those grant funds as best we can. So, and thank you. I really appreciate you and everybody else who's doing that. It's a huge help for everybody, and not a small task.
Not a small task.
I know. I've seen those before.
You might just stay up there too, because we're gonna,
That's right, yeah.
thanks. And I know that we were talking on our meeting about the strategic plan and how this, where did it go? There it is. How this board operates and functions. And so I figured we'd take a little bit of time tonight, but then also give you homework to think on some things and looking at our unmistakable identity. Porter has gone over the ordinance.
The ordinance and the
yeah.
3 resolutions. The good news is the ordinance and then resolution number 7472, for those who are tracking, are the main ones to look at on this front. And basically what it boils down to is what the commission did was advisory boards in the city of Lawrence helped the city commission carry out the goals of the Lawrence strategic plan. So everything points back to the strategic plan. Their main purpose is to provide informed advice and recommendations on policies, programs, and community priorities that support the city's vision and values. For example, in our case, or the Parks Recreation Advisory Board, the Unmistakable Identity Advisory Board's focus on helping Lawrence remain a welcoming community known for its arts, culture, events, and a vibrant downtown. Advisory boards receive direction from the City Commission through the strategic plan. That's what Roger's talking about, is guiding everything back to the strategic plan. Or if there was a specific request from the City Commission, that would also go to the board. The board can research and discuss issues within their area of focus. develop ideas and policy recommendations for the city commission to consider, may form smaller subcommittees with approval from the city commission to study topics in more detail as long as they meet publicly, give notice, and keep minutes for transparency. In short, advisory boards exist to connect community expertise with city leadership, ensuring decisions are thoughtful, transparent, and aligned with Lawrence's long-term goals. So, the main thing that we do, and keep in mind that staff is doing this all the time with our programs and everything else that we're doing. So we're always referencing the key performance indicators, which are up on the screen right now. And just as a reminder, the key performance indicators, or hang on, Face ID, or KPIs, are arranged. So we have 14 KPIs, and they all fall under different areas of commitment. One area is community engagement, that's UI 1 and 2. The other area is efficient and effective processes, which is UI 3 and 4. Equity and inclusion is UI 5, 6, 7, and 8. Sound fiscal stewardship is UI 9 and 10. Engaged and empowered teams, which is more internal employees, is UI 11. And then environmental sustainability, acres of green, or UI 12, 13, and 14. So those are all available for you all to take a look at and determine, is there something that stands out in this capacity and something that you want to develop some sort of plan to advise the city commission at some level, or develop a new policy or something.
Right. So what my thought was, we would go delve into like one of the UIs, like equity and inclusion. That could be our topic for a number of months. And then we're looking at the percent of Black and Indigenous and people of color, BIPOC residents rating the community as welcoming. We would look at ways that we could help make that tick up. We'd bring people in to present, to discuss with us. There may be things that you want to ask that we could do differently or add to make that go up, feel welcoming. So those are the things I want to kind of start looking at as this board is really, this is the guiding our roadmap, so to speak. I know we have our own roadmap with the strategic or our comprehensive plan that we've developed, the master plan, but then also the UIs, I think they even went into where those things align with the UIs and the strategic plan, so we can revisit that. But I wanted you to kind of, think about this in terms of the strategic plan and how, I know there's been lots of questions. How does this board function and how does it operate? Well, it operates within the strategic plan now because of the unmistakable identity thing. Now, I know that they're also talking potentially doing another survey and also kind of retooling or tweaking some of the KPIs.
So we did the current strategic plan in 2020. The plan was always to revisit that every 3 to 5 years or so. Obviously, we're at 5 years. So there has been discussion at the city manager level of, doing a new community survey to get new data. How quickly that's going to occur, I don't know.
Right.
So can I ask then, the report on the pool and asking about what is the hiring going to be like for the new director, can this board not ask for those things because they're not evident in the strategic plan or the KPIs? And honestly, there's a bit of reductionist to that this board is actually an unmistakable identity board. So could you maybe talk a little bit about where the boundaries are?
Help me understand what you're asking if you mentioned the director.
It seems to me that the bigger issue there is who are we advising?
Yeah.
See, formally, no, that's
No,
not
the
true.
advisory, the city commission.
That's right. See, but day to day, who are we advising? The staff.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a bit of a kind of a confusion in terms of the formal we are advising the city commission, but in practice, we are a sounding board in effect for the staff.
And I would like to ask how, if we are bound to these strategic UI items, and the fact, the one that you pointed out, welcoming community
Yeah.
for anybody, but specifically for minorities, when that approval goes down because of fees and closing of facilities, who is accountable to that? When we, in fact, advised that it may be, and the response, I mean, I get it, it's a budget thing, but if we're working towards these goals, but we're not accountable,
We're advising.
what are,
I don't feel that I'm advising anybody. I mean, I feel, I understand what you're saying, like, you know, the fees have been a thing since I've come into the board. It's been part of the conversation. I've been very adamantly against it from the beginning. We've sent messages twice, fell on hollow ears, right? The community has voted on, we saw it. And then I'm still trying to understand too, like, what my role is, because I don't feel as though, like, I think the broader question is, well, who are you advising? Well, I don't know who we're advising.
and how are we being heard?
So, per this policy, you're advising the city commission. You did advise the city commission on the fees, as did the community. The decision was made for various reasons that we all understand, and so that's happening, which I know is disappointing for some. That's one case, though. I think the key is that what we're looking at is, here are the KPIs, here's what's going on. Are there areas of interest beyond that that you all feel strongly related to unmistakable identity that you want to bring to the table and work on to advise the city commission in any way, shape, or form? And I know it's not crystal clear. It's not simple and easy and you know, intuitive. The challenge, too, is, because I work with other boards, every board is somewhat unique. They have different tasks. Some tasks are very clear. The Planning Commission, for instance, is very, very clear. They, you know, things are brought to them. They have to review them and make a decision on those things. And then they, too, advise the City Commission on whether or not they think that project should go forward. Sometimes the commission agrees, or sometimes the commission doesn't agree. The Art Commission actually has programs, so a lot of work happens, and they advise on those programs, and they work with their own budget for that purpose. So it's a little challenging in the sense that not all boards and commissions are created for the same purposes.
And this one
Some
got
of that,
changed.
too.
This one got changed a lot, I feel, from when it was to the, I mean, because it's really looking at the performance indicators and looking at how we can, you know, make those ticks up.
Right.
Or, you know, help solve the problems that we may have as a community.
So in that vein, that's sort of one of my questions was, with our new purpose, is receiving an update on the pool
Relevant, is that
out
what you're
of
saying?
pocket? Because I don't know how to connect it to a KPI. And I think that level of clarity would be helpful, because I do feel like some of us signed on to be a Parks and Recreation and Culture Advisory Board, but we're actually an Unmistakable Identity Advisory Board, as it has an intersection with Parks, Rec, and Culture.
And the Arts Commission, because that's the other unmistakable
Right.
identity board. I would say, if you go to number 1 KPI,
Yeah,
I mean, that's all inclusive for the most part. Percent of residents who are satisfied or very satisfied with the
with the
Parks and Recreation
system, and
system.
that's part of the
So
system.
the pool is part of that, no doubt. It's something that's really vital to the community, so I think there are connections along those routes.
And
I think that's part of the
strategies-
challenge, is that, you're right, some members of this board were on the previous board, so to speak, and got used to doing things a certain way. Now, that structure has changed, and so part of this is shifting, how do we work with this? What are the tools at hand? What do we want to do? And as I pointed out, it is okay with that incentive to create a committee that could then do further research. I hear a lot of passion. Maybe that committee, if they could take time, could sit down and take a look at the KPIs and really sort of ferret out what are the things that we're most interested in for the next year or so, and bring that back to the board, and see what people want to do. That would be one approach.
Right. And that's what I was trying to I was trying to give voice to what Porter just eloquently expressed. That the board, I've seen the frustration of this board. And I want you to feel like there is some reason and purpose to this. And there is. And again, the city commission decides best how they see it,
Right.
because they hear many different voices, and they take ours into account. It may not just weigh as heavily as some of the other voices that they've heard as well. I can't speak for them. But know that your work isn't gone. We as staff appreciate the support of an advisory board as well, and what we do daily.
Think about it, the way I think about it is, what if the staff did not have us as an advisory board? See, are they really going to have to go to the city commission on every single, everything that they talk to us about? Are they going to have to go to the city commission if we went? So to me, we are a surrogate city commission. See, they want advice. What they really want is advice from the city commission. But that's not feasible. So we are advising the city commission, but in effect, we're sort of the middle ground there. And so we can't expect that everything that we recommend is going to be,
Sure.
is going to be followed through on, because ultimately it's the city commission that has to decide. But that's why our effectiveness, in my mind, depends a lot on how the staff utilizes us.
And with that thought too, one of the words that resounds to me is transparency. And something Roger and I talked about is, who would we invite to a commission meeting to present on the BIPOC question of, who represents that aspect of our community that could speak to what is the experience. Lisa's point is well taken, but I also know with events, we've done a great job of balancing our grant program and have significantly increased opportunities for equity. So that there's, that's the other thing, is we're not just a one-hit wonder. We're doing a lot of different things, and I think that's important as well. And sharing that with the community as well as you all. I'm sure there's many things we do that you all don't know about. And it's really hard for us to convey all that. We'd have to take a lot of time. And our capacity is limited as well.
And Vicki, just to follow up, I'm sitting here thinking, so we have the director's report on the agenda, and so I'm clearly going to give an update on the recruitment for the director position. But we talked about that when we set the agenda. And so I think, when you read it listed out here, this is the chance for me to give an update on things going on in our department, so specifically to Parks and Rec. We can use this time, and I think that's where previously Luis had been giving updates on the membership fee and the budget process, because that was, the priority of what our department was working on at the time. And so we're all still working through this change together and trying to get a grasp on, again, the way we used to do it, where we'd give, reports from the rec side and the park side. And so obviously some of that has changed, but we just, need to work together and make sure we tie it back to our KPIs, which, again, UI1 is...
UI1 is the all-encompassing one, right.
So I think I think the bottom line is we need to work as a group, and you all need to decide if you have something or a topic you want to discuss. We do it here, put it on the agenda for the next meeting. And then we can help guide. And I know we talked about, maybe digging into this a little deeper at the December meeting.
Right.
We can try to get some more clarification that we could bring back from City Hall and see if there's more information that we could share. Is that where I see you still have a...
No, I was reading. I can't see, sorry. I mean, I did ask that this be put on the agenda because it was raised and we kind of left it when fees were being discussed, but key performance indicators are sort of our North Star, I think.
Right.
So do folks have a thought about, do we do a deep dive in December? Do we take this, I think Roger raised the idea of homework to come back with?
Well, just kind of look at the 14 UIs that we have. And to me, that's where we need to start, is where's the interest lie with the board on trying to look and deep dive into the needle? And maybe it may be UI 1, okay? And then let's look at how do we craft that? How do we say that the percent of residents who are satisfied are very satisfied with Parks and Recreation system? And the strategies, we may need to change some of the strategic things below here. It says market Lawrence is a destination of parks and recreation, community and cultural events, enhance parks, amenities, recreational opportunities. Okay, obviously there's some people that think that we've taken away opportunity for recreation things. Okay, so now that that's there, how do we do that? We do that through the scholarship program, through the, through other mechanisms to get people to be able to participate as well. And maybe there's other things that we haven't thought about. And so that's where I think we can bring in, I mean, I've worked with a lot of folks on events in the community since I've started doing right-of-way. And to what Porter was saying with minority groups, we've worked with the Juneteenth organization, Pride. They've done quite a bit and enhanced their programming, and bringing them in to talk about some of those things and how they see them feeling at home. That's what I always go back to with the strategic plan, that statement. And Porter, you probably know it better than I because I think you helped write it. What's that statement about being at home, everybody feeling at home?
Oh, well, that's part of go back to the
Okay.
main strategic plan. There's the mission
Is it up here?
and the vision. There you go, right there down. So we create a community where all enjoy life and feel at home.
Yeah, that's exactly because that's the overall mission, is that's what the strategic plan to me is trying to do for everybody. And these UIs, if they're not connecting to that and making people feel like they're part of the community, then we've failed. And as staff, we use this to help guide everybody to feel at home. That's the way I see it. And so we do our due diligence every day, trying to move these needles up so that the community feels like they're a part of something. So what I was just suggesting is to kind of go into the strategic plan, and it's all here on the website, and kind of looking at the overview and the the different UIs and where UI, like you said, unmistakable identity. So this is where we're at, is just to be within this, and then those progress indicators. And again, those things get updated. Is there an area that we need to be looking at the next time we start looking at our UIs? Are there other areas that we need to be focusing on as well?
So do we want to include this on the next meeting agenda with a deep dive, or maybe come back with interest areas that could be the focus for a specific time period for this board?
I would make a suggestion maybe that if we were to do that, to make it homework as part of the follow-up to this meeting more than a week prior to the next meeting, please. Maybe before Thanksgiving would be really awesome. A link to that.
Sure.
Which I wrote down,
Sure. And I can remind folks too. I'm good at that. I wanted to be a teacher at one point.
Yep. That would be my suggestion for how to move forward.
Okay.
So the homework idea, does that feel like a way to move forward, or other thoughts? how do we lean into the KPIs for this, I guess given that's our role,
Right.
right?
Well, and do remember, we do have on our agenda those other items that should be part, somehow, these future presentations are also a part of that unmistakable, and how do they fit in to a UI? The capital improvement plan, that goes back to UI 1 again, I would say, because it's talking about the infrastructure and helping, presentation on the kiosk for Underground Railroad, that's more cultural awareness, but we're still waiting on them. Update on Municipal Stadium, that's also the historic cultural aspects. The World Cup, again, that's a big economic boom and may actually help celebrate community as well. So I think all of those things fit. I probably need to do a better job when I'm doing this to put the UI that things related to as well. That way you can kind of look at that from that standpoint as well.
Good idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Thanks
Well,
for,
thanks, I just
thanks
thought
for
of it.
volunteering.
Again, this is an amoeba. I really look at it, when they restructured the whole, plan for advisory boards, this is new territory, the way that it's set up. And I know it's confusing, and I know it's not what the folks that were on the board before were doing before. It's new and different. It may not be your cup of tea, too. I get that as well.
So the dashboard for UI 1 has this 85% favorable.
And that is coming
and it was
from,
based in October, so just now.
how did this, what was this?
Yeah, how did that,
They get updated, so some of these have been updated more recently than others, but some we update numbers quarterly. Others are, typically, it's just year to year. So in January, we will be updating a lot of these for the year of '25. So it'll show you when it was updated, but I'd have to go through and look and see how Luis was doing it previously. But this new software system is a little different than it was before. And so some of them you can see have not been updated in a while. For example, the UI2, because of the survey, was done every 2 years. So some of them are going to be on different schedules as far as when the information gets updated.
and will that sort of wipe out when it's updated? Will we be able to remember this was at 81 and it dropped down, or it went up? Like, how will we see the benchmark of public opinion along the way?
That's a good question. And I'm not
I'm not sure either. But
the
I can
answer.
find out. We can.
I don't know.
I didn't know
Part of that
it was set up.
is we haven't done an overarching community satisfaction survey
Right.
since 2022, I guess.
Was that from the survey that was deployed when asking about fees?
No,
Yeah, it's a different.
no. So the city has done a community-wide random survey.
Oh, I mean, just the updated in October number.
This one, yeah.
Didn't
Into,
Well, we don't have that data in the sense that comes from the random survey.
from
But it
25.
said it was updated. in-
Yeah, I don't know why. It may be, to Lindsay's point, it may have been updated because of the change of platform.
And I know before it was done annually, and now I know the outcome champions are working with commitment champions to go in quarterly, but they may not have it might say updated, but it might be updates on just the strategies and things like that. The data itself may not have been updated. And so, again, I'm trying to familiarize myself with each one and how that data is recorded. So I can come back and give a clarification on that in December.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so I kind of heard, I think Roger's definitely going to tie things to KPIs in the agenda so that we start to learn that way. And then it sounded like maybe some homework for December and bring this back in December.
Well, it can be ongoing, too. It
Yeah,
doesn't
oh,
have to
yeah.
be Limited.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Thank you, everybody, for this discussion. Moving on to follow-up items.
Yeah, there really weren't any that I had or noted.
Okay. Director's report.
Okay. Well, as we previously mentioned, I was going to give a brief update on the recruitment for the PRC director position. So the update is that it's going to be held open for probably through May of next year before they begin a recruitment process. So I'm going to be the interim until then at this point, and then we'll have more information once they put a plan together. But it will most likely be, I don't know exactly when they're going to start the recruitment, but it'll most likely be in the spring sometime. And that's all I had for the
So
director's
that
report.
coincides with the city manager as well.
Yes, yes.
But that's May.
Yeah, so they want the new city manager to be on board to help with the process. Yep. That's correct.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Any questions for Lindsay or discussion? That was a really brief report.
I think we talked about plenty of it.
Okay. Next is the future agenda items. Are there any comments or questions or additions?
This may be where I come in. Maybe. I'm looking at I had a group approach me. It's in regards to, actually the farmer's market. But I guess they're trying to find a permanent home for the farmer's market. And this group happens, or they've heard that they're looking at, I think they said 7th Street between Watson Park and Constant Park. And there's some concern there, and they'd like to be able to come and present. This is kind of their map of what they're doing. This group is pretty active, and they'd like to share that information with us either in December or January, I believe, but the sooner the better, because, again, they're taking to try to get this on the historical, their application for the parks. They just don't want to see us lose any part of the parks. That's their concern.
And Lee, we spoke with that group,
Okay.
and it's going to go to the city commission first, and we're going to
Okay,
wait and
yep.
get direction from the city commission before it comes to the advisory board. So
Okay.
they understand that at this
So it
point,
could
we're
be-
not going to put them on an agenda until we get feedback and
Okay,
direction from.
so
the-
you have spoken with them?
Yes.
Because I told
Yeah.
them to do that
Yeah, we have.
as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
But should we put them on there or just wait?
At this point, we're going to
Okay.
wait.
Wait.
Yeah.
And I'm
Anything else?
wondering about this too, because it has dates on here and I'm gonna have to put it as part of public record now. So,
Okay.
proposed, I guess I'll put on.
So any other comments about future agenda items or? Right, hearing none. Just a reminder, calendar, the holiday extravaganza is December 6th.
Yeah, that was a selfless plug that my group does, and that we put a lot of work into it. We've revamped our whole arts and crafts fair type thing. They're now artisan fairs. We have people apply, and then they also select their own booth. We don't assign booths because that was a lot of work for us. And so now they select them, and knock on wood, it's gone really well this year, better than I anticipated. So I'm very proud of my staff that have put in the work and have really, to me, we've elevated our craft fair now, so. And it'll be 4 full gyms of stuff. We added another
It's a great event.
court last year, and we'll have the full gym. So 4 full gyms of holiday spirit on the 6th.
Boy,
And that's the same day as the horse parade, so we're working with the horse parade on the right-of-way permits, and also this is that same day, so I have to sometimes boogie from one side of town to the other, but it works.
Do you know how many vendors you'll have this year?
I think there's
Gosh.
470, I think, somewhere in that neighborhood, or 400, between 430 and 470. I'd have to go out and look at the,
It's a good number.
It's a good.
yeah. And we've revamped the whole thing so that we have selling sides rather than just a booth. They get 10 by 10, but then we're charging them per selling side. So if they have 2 sides, it's more. If they have an end cap, it's more. Those types of things, which, help additional revenue for us as well. So.
Thanks for the work on that. Our next meeting will be December 8th here in this room at 5:30. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Wow. It says it's 7:35.
I know.